Good afternoon and welcome to Thurrock Oakfield, where today Thurrock entertain Brentwood. Brentwood are currently 7th in the division, Thurrock are 11th. Today we mark with respect the passing of one of our great clubmen, Jeff Selway. Jeff Selway has been at this club for 48 years, as with great sadness and respect that we have to inform people of his passing last Tuesday. Jeff was a product of Absary Grammar School before training as a teacher at Avery Hill College. At Absary School he was a fine scholar, where he had been inspired by his music teacher Martin Budd. A chorister, member of the Madrigal group, and a brilliant trumpeter, he ensured with his pal Hugh Lewis that Greenhouse always won the Eisteddfod. Of course, when he came to Thurrock, he became a leading light in the Aveley band. In recent years, its president. Indeed, he'd just been to a meeting of the band on the night of his passing. As a teacher, Jeff was peerless. A mathematician, he was always aware of the importance of the computer revolution in schools and soon became an expert in passing on his knowledge to the students. His magnificent sense of humour was a real asset, and he was loved by the many thousands he taught in Grays, Aveley and Gravesend. Legend is a word used too often, but it hardly does justice to describe Jeff Selway. A fine rugby player in his own right, his early retirement meant he would serve Thurrock Rugby Club in many other ways. He became its treasurer and guided the club through to charitable status and spent countless hours ensuring it got through the most difficult of times, especially during the COVID pandemic. Jeff spent much of his life producing match-day programmes for both the men's teams and the ladies' teams. And his match-day humour and particularly ground staff tales will never be forgotten. The ladies' team loved him dearly, and he was their greatest champion. He followed them everywhere, and even got back from Wales on Sunday to see the second half of their game against Buckingham Ladies, which they duly won for him. One of his old schoolmates was Steve Lewis, who was a scrum half and who went on to become the chief executive of the Welsh Rugby Union. And Jeff was proud of his Welsh heritage and always managed to go on tours with his great friends Rolf Jones, Liu Hughes, Carl Napierala, Clive Bynan and his son James. In spite of a difficult year, Jeff had managed to go to the Principality Stadium last Saturday for the first time in 9 years and see Wales prevail against Australia in the last minute. Then he hurried back to Thurrock to be with his beloved ladies team. I used to joke that when we were in school together, both teams stand on the halfway line. Over there and halfway. We go stand opposite the ball. Face the stand, okay? Face the stand. Brentwood. All right, boys. Line, face the stand for us, please. John, that's only closer to the game. Have a great game. Okay, have a great game. You're going to blow the whistle for the guys over there? Yeah. You? Just going to tell them. You're going to tell the people on the other pitch as well. Okay. Sorry. Gents, thank you so much. There's a minute's applause when the ref comes back. Okay. Therapist and Alex Evans has managed to get back onto the field in the centre. The Ulsterman. Henry Bird is at 12. Dan Stone has moved from the wing to 10, allowing Lewis Cross to come back in the team. Lewis Cross had a first-class game for the second team last week at open side wing forward. Tom Worsfold has family illness. As Dritan Loka takes that line-out ball, hands on to number 8 Ben Timpson, who collides with his opposite number. Stone has the ball, a little chip ahead there into space for Dan Stone. Alex Jones partners Dan Stone as halfback, the vice captain. Ben Timpson number 8, Charlie Russo the captain to open side wing forward today, which means that Caelan Watts-Adams moves from the second row into the back row. Albanian Dritan Loka is in the second row, number 5 with young Jay Jennings, leaving Frank Wright at tight head, Dan Ulf at hooker, the continued absence of Lawrence Brown, and Anthony Catchpole is at loose head. Some new names as a result of their excellent performance of the second team last week. Coley Awasika is the reserve prop. Elonis Butramas is a utility back row forward, and the reliable Rob Murphy covers backs and forwards. Brentwood also have their changes. Sam Kendall is at full back. The wingers are Ed Hornby and Lewis Holmes. Jake Harcourt and Fraser Paris, the centre combination. Jamie Cox comes into 10 instead of Brad Burr, and Tom Lucas Roast at 9. The captain is number 8, James Fogel. Brentwood making good progress there through the heart of the Thurrock defence. Jack Wells and Matt Wally make up the rest of the back row. That's gone wide to the wing. Left winger, Lewis Holmes, who passes inside. Joel Bevans-Royston, who is the brother of Aston Bevans-Royston, who used to play for Thurrock at prop, resumes at tight head. Lewis Payne and Matt Northall form the rest of the front row. Terry Snooks, Jack Richards and Jack Mays are on the bench. The referee today is Jonathan Priestley from the London Society. So it's good attacking intent from Brentwood right at the start of this game, but we have to bear in mind it's a very strong northwesterly wind today. Unusual for Thurrock. The wind usually blows off the river from the southwest, but today is a very cold northwesterly, but at least at the moment we are dry, and the rest of the country is suffering severe storms. It's a good take from the line out from Brentwood. It's Killington has taken that, and Brentwood have driven forward. The Thurrock have managed to hold their position. It looks as if they may have won a scrum. But good afternoon and welcome to our many viewers around the world. Paul Stevens in Singapore. A special welcome today to Mercedes Foy in the Cayman Islands. We have Brian Davis, Bob Williams, the Henderson family in Wales, and many, many other people in Wales watching. Strong connection, of course, with Abertillery in South Wales. Welcome to our viewers from various parts of England, including John Langley down in Tewkesbury in Gloucestershire. Norman Brown in Sudbury. I've just been reminded by my co-commentator, Graham Morris. Of course, Jeff Selway was famous for his ground staff tales, and Roger White submitted one to the programme today. We'd like to thank all those people from around the world who sent those wonderful messages to James Selway and Christine and the family. And Jeff thoroughly deserved those. One of the best club men you could ever get anyway. It's good to see Mike Stevenson mobile on his scooter, selling programs as ever, conning money out of people. So an attacking scrum in the Thurrock 22 for Brentwood. Tom Lucas Rose to put the ball in. It's almost like a pre-World Cup cycle for Thurrock as they build again for the future. A very young team with possible exception of Anthony Catchpole and Dritton Loka. One never knows their ages. Judging by their appearance, early 20s. So Lucas Rose to put in. It's been a good scrum for Brentwood. Thurrock a march back. And the ref has given the penalty. Brentwood are picking, carrying close to Thurrock line. And they've knocked on, and the referee subsequently has gone back to the earlier penalty. It's a bitterly cold day here at Thurrock, but lots of people have turned off to pay their respects to Jeff's family. It's quite strange, really, that Jeff used to accuse me of singing like a monk, and he was the member of the magical choir in school. The referee is calling for assistance there with an injury. But I think we're ready now to move on. Thurrock today are without the ubiquitous Joss Nunn. Joss Nunn, of course, is here, then, everywhere, but today he's nowhere. Unfortunately injured. Been one of Thurrock's outstanding players this season, Joss. So he's always a great loss. But it's good to see Lonus Butramus coming onto the bench. A very young man, outstanding game against Upminster last week. Deserves his place with Coley on the bench. Coley Awisaka. So Niall Clifford, who's usually a full-back, has moved to the centre. Matt Siddle, who's usually a 10, has moved to full-back, allowing Dan Stone to orchestrate the game's half-back with Alex Jones.
I asked the question a while ago, actually, a week ago, they're still having problems with the gas.
Once again, Brentford under pressure. This time they're told to use the ball. They deliver that, comes to the outside centre. There's been terrific tackle in the middle of the field there. That's Clifford Henry Bird in the middle. And they went backwards at a rate of knots. Wonderful collision, Thurrock's favour.
Yeah. I know, they take up quite a bit of room there.
It was mentioned the warm-up today that Abertoleri's motto underneath their badge is Heb Casineb, Heb Often, which of course is Welsh, and it means without hatred, without fear. Particularly appropriate for today's game. Of course, we're all sporting in our outlook to life, and even though Brentwood is a local derby, there's no hatred, there's certainly respect, but there should not be any fear. That's a better scrum for Thurrock. They've quickly gone, but now the ball has gone forward. Henry Bird, formerly of Brentwood, enjoys playing with Niall Clifford. The Ulsterman played at fly half, full back, wing, centre, played everywhere except scrum half, I think. Very strong left foot. Unfortunately, Jake Barron wasn't available this week. He's been the Essex full-back and played with and against a lot of these Brentwood players. And we wish him well. And Lewis Cross coming on the left wing at a very impressive start, running into his opposite number, Ed Hornby. So Lucas Rose to put in again. A much better scrum from Thurrock. It has skewed a little to the left. It's gone through 108 degrees. And number 8 has picked up there, James Vogel, the captain of Brentwood. Again, some fine tackling. The Thurrock have turned that over, and Alex Jones has managed to find a reasonable touch against the wind.
No, but that doesn't happen. We won't kick.
No, we will. Rather we don't win.
You can do all the technical things you want in training, but today is about winning the toss, and thankfully Thurrock won the toss. He elected to play against the wind in the first half towards the scoreboard end. Calum Watts-Adams there merged with the ball, and then for some reason the second row kicked, probably remembering the days when he was a fly half. Ben Tim's up there, and Thurrock have managed to get into the Brentwood half for only the second time after the first kickoff.
Oh, well hidden, Mark, it's all right. Lift up, lift up! Pop wide! Go on,
Thurrock have got the ball, Niall Clifford there on the move. That was a good take by Kai Holloway and fed Matt Siddle. So Thurrock again on the attack.
Good boy, kick it in.
Anthony Pease would like to say hello to his nephews, Theo and Liam. They're Brentwood boys watching with Anthony's brother. But Anthony could have said hello himself, actually, if he'd bought the extra microphone I asked him to a month ago. He's doing a wonderful job, thank you. So, excellent counter-attack there from Thurrock against the wind. A very difficult ball for Kai Holloway to take, but using his control completely, made sure it was fed inside and he didn't knock it on the way he's been taught. It's come out to Niall Clifford, he's made good progress. And against a very strong wind, this has been a good opening passage for Thurrock. Always difficult to gauge the wind, of course, because you tend to overdo it when you have the wind, and then against it you tend to carry perhaps a little bit too much, and sometimes the odd chip kick will work, as almost did for Dan Stone at the beginning. So Thurrock have a penalty close to the Brentwood 22, and Matt Siddle looks as if he's going to kick to touch. As for not releasing, that will give you some idea of the strength of the wind. There's probably more to do with the placement on the foot. The wind took the ball away. Great line by Jay Jennings. Feeds captain Charlie Russo in the middle of the field. He drives hard into contact. Thurrock go blind, Jay Jennings, young Jay Jennings, second row. Makes good progress. Dritan Loka is hit low and hard. Alex Jones in possession. Calum Watts-Adams in the middle of the field. Feeds out Dan Stone, Henry Bird. Henry Bird looks for contact. He likes that. Managed to retrieve the ball. It comes out on the blind side where Thurrock almost had an overlap, but it's taken back into contact. Alex Jones looking the other way this time. It's come out to Ben Timpson. Always makes good progress. Dan Stone. It's a good contest in the middle of the field. Thurrock forwards are trucking the ball up. Dan Stone is now come wide, and the catch ball goes back. Jones wins the ball again. Dan Stone, he gives a short ball this time to Matt Siddle, who's coming full back. And Brentwood offside. Thurrock are really up for this today. I'm not sure a penalty in the middle of the field gives you much advantage. It's very difficult to even find touch. Matt Siddle with a kick again. This time he finds a better touch. They always need to be aware in the wind at Thurrock that if you kick the ball above the height of the stand, it blows back into play. Much better drive a spiral low into touch. Get the benefit of the wind restriction from the stand. Nevertheless, that's a good kick. And Dan Olf, a very good first throw into line out. Should give him confidence. Hookers always like to get the first one absolutely right. And every other one, I suppose. I must apologise for the harshness of the voice today. One is suffering from a very heavy cold. My co-commentator Anthony Pease still hasn't provided the microphone. He said he was going to provide a month ago. Good to see Dave Sardar there.
In my defence regarding the microphone, I haven't been bothered yet.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll ask for a summary at half-time. So Dan Olf to throw in. This time there seemed a bit of confusion, but Jay Jennings has managed to retrieve the ball, and he had a great drive from the young man. Anthony Catchbow. Father Dave watching on, a great Saracens player in his time. Now great speed, Frank Wright, the young tight head. 20 stones, Frank Wright. Pure muscle, that boy. This time is Charlie Russo, the captain. Well supported by Jay Jennings, but he has gone backwards there. Thurrock have recovered. Wrestling with the ball. For all they're worth, Alex Jones has it. Dan Stone throws a dummy, puts Henry Bird into space. Two players outside, but he couldn't quite get the pass in. Well smothered by the tackle. Dan Stone at 10. Dan Stone looking for the gap. Oh, he just pulled the ball from his hands. Ball has gone forward in the tackle. Once again, Brentwood offside. It's a good start from Thurrock, and they have the confidence to elect for a scrum.
Right, sausage. Just a little one on the way. How we doing? Well, that's going right. I'm all right, yeah. I haven't seen you for ages, yeah. It's regular, isn't it?
It's welcome to Mick Leckenby, the co-provider of the camera. He's in sunny Cyprus, enjoying himself. I hope he's watching the game. Oh, we're absolutely freezing in sub-zero temperatures. Thurrock electing for a scrum. We haven't done that since the days of George Smith and John White and Martin Lewis and people like that. It's not a bad scrum. Bentham has picked up, he's gone blind. Decided to come back open, nothing going blind. No players there, actually. Alex Jones, Charlie Russo, the captain. Thurrock are beginning to threaten here. They're gaining confidence. Dritan Loka, the big man, there's only one way he's going. There's only one way the tackler's going. He's got to go low. Thurrock getting yet another penalty. This time it's come Matt Siddle on the blind side. A little grubber kick through. Ben Timpson's chasing. And Thurrock brought back for the penalty. Big festive crowd in the stand here at Thurrock today. Tomorrow, Thurrock ladies play Blackheath. It will be a very special game in honour of Jeff Selway. They're going to dedicate the game to him. Hopefully we'll get another big crowd tomorrow. So Thurrock electing to go to the corner. Hardly surprising in this wind. That's a very good kick from Matt Siddle against the elements.
Did you watch the video when Henry kicked it? Really? Sorry.
So it's Thurrock in a strong attacking position. Danolf with the throw. Last night it was a bit confusing. This time it's gone to the front to Caleb Watts-Adams. Second row was calling the line out. It's a great catch by him. Thurrock have lost the ball though. It's been a deception. And it's Killington who's broken away. Ball comes out to Brentwood, who are inevitably going to kick it. Siddle's got back into position. Got a little run there. Decides to break the first tackle. The man from Hartlepool, they've won that back, and it's come to Catchbow. Frank Wright's outside him with a great pace. Jay Jennings, he elects to go into contact again. Alex Jones wins that quickly. Ben Timpson. There's Lewis Cross outside, but he's come inside. Caleb Watts-Adams, he's going straight into contact. Almost a high tackle. Alex Jones, a lovely ball. Dan Stone, Henry Bird. Henry Bird with the ball. Feeds outside, Sills in the line again. He's giving Kai Holloway a run.
Good ball, well done.
Kai Holloway comes through the first tackle like a greyhound. Vociferous crowd. No opportunity for the offload. Thurrock going blind again. Great tactics. Henry Bird has the ball. Looks as if he might have gone to ground. Thurrock keep gaining possession and keep moving the ball wide. This is going to be very tiring for Brentwood. It's a wonderful pick up there from the back. He's fell out to Kai Holloway again, who's brought down inside, deep inside the Brentwood 22. They're desperately trying to recycle. They have to gain short. Timpson. And Brentwood have taken the ball illegally. And the referee has awarded yet another penalty. A cornucopia of penalties to Thurrock. Graham Morris facetiously suggesting I don't know the meaning of that word. I've got my technical expert Anthony Pease here who's explaining it to him. He says it's a plethora, not a cornucopia. These ground staff, you know, you're quite ubiquitous. They're here, they're everywhere.
There are a smorgasbord of
A smorgasbord of ground staff. Anyway, let's get back to real action. Attacking line for Thurrock, Danolf again. Dropped down quite unpleasantly there at the feet of the attacking forwards, but Ben Timpson's managed to pick it up and drive into the corner. Thurrock have possession again. Charlie Russo. Can he recycle? They've gone blind. Thurrock have put almost in the corner. They've lost possession. They've spilled the ball in the process of diving over a try. There is no thing as a commentator's curse because we're not superstitious, and so I'm going to say this is the best start Thurrock have had all season.
Oh, for the love of God.
Rugby is a game of momentum. It's not a game of superstition. That's Graham Morris, shows you to tie his left boot lace first. Always wore a white headband, pretend he was Alan Pask. And clean white chef shorts, which are 3 feet too long. Graham Morris had his finest moment, went up against Harlequins in England, number 8, Mr. Todman. In the old days, Thurrock played Harlequins at the Stoop Memorial Ground. And they always had a sprinkling of internationals. None better than Richard Todman. So with 23 minutes gone, Thurrock have had a very impressive start, camping on the Brentwood line. It was great to see Jeff's son, James Selway, here today with Jeff's grandson, Ethan. And Ethan was presented with the ball before the game, signed by Thurrock players. Thurrock have won that ball. There's a long pass there to Lewis Cross. Can he pick it up? He's picked up brilliantly. And he's scored a try. That was an awful pass to Lewis Cross. He picked it up on the run and dived over in the corner. Lewis Cross forced into the game at the last moment on the strength of his outstanding game in the second team last week at open side wing forward. It was a difficult pass from Niall Clifford, obviously feeling the cold. But Lewis Cross trapped it with his foot, picked it up on the bounce and scored a delightful try.
Henry!
A very excitable spectator almost ran on the field. So it's Matt Siddle to take the conversion. Thurrock 5, Brentwood 0.
Give my son Charlie a shout out. He's injured. He's injured, my son.
That was a
Charlie.
really good effort by Matt Siddle, with the wind taking the ball across the front of the posts and hitting the far post. Jamie Cox to resume for Brentwood. That's a great take by Dritan Loka with the ball in front of him against the wind. Thurrock a bit static there receiving that ball. It's not really getting momentum and subsequently give away the penalty to Brentwood. That all emanated from taking the ball standing still. So Brentwood elect to kick to touch there. They probably could have done a little bit better if they'd gone for the corner. Prevailing wind on that side usually takes the ball right into the corner. So it's quite conservative. Jamie Cox. So Brentwood on the attack. That throw hasn't gone straight. Thurrock are able to win back possession. Sometimes it's more difficult throwing the ball in with the wind, of course. And Brentwood have won it back. Some good tackling there midfield. Brentwood electing to go short. Dan Suttle, Joel Bevans-Royston to the fore. Lewis Payne, the hooker. They pick and go again. Matt Northall. Thurrock driving them back there, but yet another penalty. This time it's for trying to retrieve the ball under pressure, trying to go for the jackal. So this time in front of the post, Brentwood elect to try to build a score, go for the points. It's only the second major attack they've managed to launch. This is Jamie Cox with the penalty. An early kick-off today Jamie Cox smashes that one into the trees at the far end. Thurrock 5, Brentwood 3.
Come on, lads, let's get right back up there.
The home crowd trying to motivate Thurrock as they come for this kick-off. They're not in any great hurry. Dan Stone, the former Campion fly half. Alex Jones, his partner, was a product of Campion School as well, a great rugby school in Upminster. Dan Stone. He's hit that long, that's hanging in the air. It's a very good take. Jack Wells there. They set up the ball. Cox again kicks downfield. And Matt Siddle's quite a long way back. He's elected to let that bounce. Never really a very good thing to do. Decided to come inside, but he slipped. Put himself and his team under quite a bit of pressure. And yes, inevitably it's the penalty. One feels sorry for Matt Siddle, a fly half who's had to move into full back. In this very strong wind, he's elected to stay a long way back and allow that bouncer, give the Brentwood team time to get into position. And Cox kicks the ball into touch, once again quite conservatively. I suppose if you get too much air, you're in danger of letting it go dead and bringing the home team back for a scrum. So on occasion, Brentwood used the wind to good advantage. Can they throw in straight? A few dummies gone straight the front. Subtle at the front. They put the drive on. It's important that Thurrock hold out. At the moment, after half an hour gone, this isn't a match-winning lead by any chance. In fact, they're still in deficit. Another penalty to Brentwood. And these are worrying times for the home team, who, having had a good start, are now being penned back in their own half as a result of one kick. So this time Brentwood go for the scrummage. That's to be understood, bearing in mind the difficulty throwing in with a very strong wind. So the pivot buttressing the Thurrock scrum is young Frank Wright at 20 stones, learning his trade and doing a magnificent job at the moment. On the loose end, Anthony Catchpole, who occasionally doubles up as a second row. Josnan, unfortunate day, injured. Switch in the middle. He's come back inside hard there. Jake Harcourt is tackled. Brentwood go blind, feeding the inside ball quite close to the Thurrock line. Looks like Fraser Paris and Lewis Holmes. Come back inside, Lewis Payne, the hooker there, in close concert. Trying to drive over the line. Thurrock are holding him up in the corner. Tackles going in. Thurrock behind the line to avoid being offside. Brentwood drive yet again. This time there's a double latch as a sidestep. Thurrock hold up. Attempt to rip by Dan Stone.
Oh, come on.
No, that's another penalty against Thurrock. There's a word of warning there to the captains, Charlie Russo and James Vogel. No yellow card currently. I always like it when the referees give a final warning several times. So camera gantry is currently in the stand, and fortunately Vice Chairman Jason Bedding has promised to build a new gantry on the far end of the pitch, so from deep inside their own half, close to their line, a number of great carries there by Thurrock, ending up in Lewis Cross bursting through tackle after tackle, camped on the Brentwood line, not for very long because Jay Jennings, the young lock, was able to dive over in the corner. I repeat, this is the best start Thurrock have made for a very long time. Full of spirit and heart today. Cox to kick off. Thurrock 10, Brentwood 3. It's a long kick by Cox. Thurrock failed to take it, and it's a knock on.
Silly errors, boys, silly errors.
So it's Lucas Rose feeding the ball. Brentwood gone blind. It's come out to Harcourt. Paris is there. Lucas Rose feeding the forwards. Payne, Bevans Royston. Thurrock have gone for the jackal. Just failed with that one. Inside ball. Covered by Caelan Watts-Adams. Anthony Catchpole with good tackle, and Watts-Adams is there, almost winning possession back. Brentwood again upping the ante. Thurrock having to put in the tackles. It's the first time Brentwood really threatened the try line. Another inside pass. The referee has awarded a penalty to Brentwood.
Nice on, nice on!
We're now close to half time, and Brentwood have chosen to take the scrummage, I think. Even though the Thurrock lights are on, Brentwood in their traditional colours and Thurrock in their traditional colours, it's almost impossible to identify some of the players at close quarters. So I apologise for any misrepresentation. Thomas Lucas Rose to put the ball in the scrum. There's a better scrummage from Brentwood. They're rushing blind. But is tackled in the process of going blind. Is wheeled. It's gone round 360 degrees. And the referee suggested Thurrock were responsible for that. So with Thurrock leading by 10 points to 3, it's a scrum on the Thurrock line, 5 metres out. Brentwood are missing Bradley Burr today, the Essex fly half, who's been around the scene, a former Southend player, and I think Bishop Stortford played at one stage, playing in higher divisions. He's a real loss to them. Another powerful scrum from Brentwood, and his ball is shot out once again, and Thurrock have the opportunity to come up to the tackle. Good work by Alex Jones to the base of the scrum. Lewis Payne comes inside. They're taking the ball blind again. Catch pull is there, able to make the tackle. Watts Adams. Suddenly there's a massive attack on the right-hand side of the pitch on the blind side. And another penalty to Brentwood. This could be trouble for Thurrock. They decide to move the ball wide on the free ball. Dan Stone goes for interception, but they come back for the penalty. And the penalties are racking up. Always dangerous. Right on the cusp of half-time, Thurrock are hoping to hold out and not concede a yellow card or a try. They feel as if they have got a slight edge in the scrum, and so they are opting for scrum after scrum. Today's game is sponsored by Forget-Me-Not Flowers, Cameron McCarthy. Thank you very much. Also, his son Tom played for Thurrock, and hopefully he'll be back to play for Thurrock. Another strong scrummage. Again, he's come out, so Thurrock go man for man in the middle. Now Clifford's come up quite quickly, slipped into the tackle. The white boots shining in the gloom. Now Brentwood are going for the forward drive. Still have possession in the middle of the field, but Thurrock have done well there to hold the player up in the middle of the field. I think that's Jake Harcourt. They've come blind again. Wave after wave attacks. And Cox goes into the middle of the field. Still close to the line. This time held up short.
Dropped it.
Inevitably, Thomas Lucas rose to scrum half, saw the opportunity, dived through a gap and scored the try. So it's Thurrock 10.
I think it's half time, ref.
Brentwood 8. The conversion to come. Even though it's very strong wind in his favour, it's still a difficult kick for Cox. He's had to use his scrum half to hold the ball in position. He's allowed for the wind. But I think he's missed the conversion. Not quite sure whether that went over or not. That's a great first half for Thurrock against the wind. And it became inevitable, I suppose, a score would come after all that pressure on the line. Thurrock have lost services of, I think, Dritan Loka. And Ilonus Butramas had to come on for his first game. So congratulations to Ilonus coming onto the field for Thurrock. Well, a sterling effort against all the elements, and they are very, very strong here today. It's been a first-class half for Thurrock. Lewis Cross was quite outstanding in that half, bursting through tackles on several occasions and making the try for Jay Jennings. Great to watch the autumn internationals over the last few weeks. And for England supporters, of course, they were invincible over that period. That great win against the world champions South Africa. England had some new stars on view, particularly Marcus Smith, but I particularly like the look of Freddie Stewart at fullback. 6'5". No point putting a high ball on him. Scotland did well, and development of their wingers was good to see, and their attacking game. Wales were very fortunate to win against Australia last weekend with a last-minute penalty. But pride of place must go to Ireland, who with a new attacking play defeated the All Blacks in what was almost a one-sided international. It was great to see the tactics of Ireland, and number 8, young number 8, Caelan Doris, who was bursting through repeatedly close to the breakdown. That then exposed the All Black backs to more attacks from people like Tide Thurrock and Tide Byrne. Subsequently, Ireland ran out to a great victory. So it was good to see some of the Northern Hemisphere teams beating the Southern Hemisphere teams. Doesn't happen very often. It tends to happen between World Cups. One only hopes when the World Cup goes to France that Northern Hemisphere will do very well. France, of course, were quite outstanding as well. And it's very interesting that their team were the Junior World Cup champions 3 or 4 years ago, and that team has come almost en masse into the French senior team, and that's why they're doing particularly well. And Antoine Dupont is no doubt one of the best players in the world at the moment, the scrum half, and so too Roman Untermack, who had the courage to run from behind his own line. Well, down in the depths of Wales on a very wet, windy afternoon in Aberdeen, we say welcome to the team there, and we mentioned the fact that Jeff Selway, formerly of Aberdeen Grammar School, passed away this week. A wonderful servant not just to this club Thurrock, but also to his hometown, where he was inspired by Martin Budd, the music teacher, who was of course the choir master of the town choir for many years. And so it was with sadness we remind people in Aberdeen of the loss of Jeff Selway, who carried on being a fine musician, a trumpeter in Thurrock, and played for the Aveley Silver Band. And of course they did exceptionally well in many national competitions over the years. So it's our very best wishes and condolences to the Selway family, particularly to wife Christine, mother, who eventually moved to Ebervale from Aberdeen, and of course James, the son, and the 2 daughters, and young Ethan, who is here today to receive the match ball from Thurrock captain Charlie Russo. So we look forward to an exciting second half, and the coaches are probably in the change rooms at the moment delivering their last minute instructions, which no doubt nobody will listen to, because the wind is the prevailing factor in what's happening on this pitch today. But Brentwood out for the second half, and it wasn't in fact Dritan Loker who went off. It was Jay Jennings, try scorer, who had a bit of a stinger in going over the try. So Elonis Butramus has come on in the short term, but the physio is working very hard to try to get Jay Jennings back on the field. And Coley Awasika has come on, the prop. And he's replaced Frank Wright, who wasn't feeling very well before the game. Apparently had eaten some prawns last night. So Jamie Cox to kick off for Brentwood. Thurrock having 2 enforced changes. So wonderful kick off. It's gone 10 and come all the way back. With Thurrock waiting for the referee's whistle, it never came, and Brentwood played on and launched into the attack. It was a mistake by Thurrock at the beginning of the second half. Some good driving runs from the Brentwood pack. It was slightly overrun, and they've given away the scrum. So Thurrock forced to put on the 2 young men at the beginning of the second half.
He got 10, didn't he?
He went 10 and brought it back.
Don't matter, that's where it lands.
I don't know.
Jeez.
The ball went over the plane of the 10-metre line.
If you kick the ball out and it goes over the sideline, and back in,
No,
it's all right.
That's not what I'm saying. But it's the same
The ball only has to go over the plane of the 10-metre line.
That's still a conversion. So I think it might be different for, it's definitely different for touch, but I think that was ball play.
So Thurrock have a defensive scrum. It's a powerful scrummage by Brentwood.
Stand up. Are you standing up?
I can't even understand what he's saying. Can you translate for me?
And one must apologise for the language for the spectators in this part of the world. Not the best start for Thurrock at the beginning of the second half. They seemed to hesitate in the kick-off. The ball passed through the plane of the 10-metre line. The referee judged that the ball had gone 10. Thurrock seemed to stop, waiting for the whistle, which never came, and Brentwood played on to their advantage. So it's Thurrock to put the ball in, scrum 10 metres from their line. This time they've held strong. It's given Stone a chance to clear. He's kicked that down the field, and that's a good strike, taking the ball 30 metres up the field. Line out. Brentwood have got possession in the middle of the field. Now Clifford trying to hold strong in the tackle. It's very hard to get the ball out wide. Kai Holloway's taken down Lewis Holmes on the outside. Brentwood keeping the ball tight. A strong attacking position. A good tackle there from Coley Awasika. Thurrock having to fold around rapidly, counting the numbers, left a big gap in the middle of the field. Brentwood certainly had the better of the early exchanges in this half, all emanating from the kick-off mistake. That's a great tackle in the middle of the field. My old friend John Marley just arrived at the stand here. wearing his England cap. And Brentwood have scored on the right. Whereas Thurrock came out very strongly in the first half, and the second half has been quite the opposite. They've struggled after the substitutions were made. And coach Martin Jones is hoping to get some players back on the field. There was Jack Wells scoring in the corner. It's Brentwood 15, Thurrock 10. Thurrock really need to regain their composure, and that was a very difficult conversion. Thurrock 10, Brentwood 15. Now it requires leadership to get Thurrock back to where they'd been earlier. So it's Dan Stone to kick off. It's a long kick deep into the Brentwood half. It's well taken by Wells, who's run across the middle of the field before he's tackled by Henry Bird. Bird looking for work. He's in there again, going on the rip. And now Clifford's managed to pick up the ball. He's burst through a couple of tackles. It's a great pickup from Thurrock, a great opportunity here. Ball's got to go wide. Instead, looks like Dritan Loka has scored. When the crowd were calling and baying for a pass, Loka decided to hang on to the ball and scored a great try. Thurrock 15, Brentwood 15. Running like a rampant giraffe, Tani Loka goes over for a wonderful try. The first kick of the second half for Thurrock, this time with the wind, blowing across the face of the posts. And this time Siddle has taken off his scrum cap, or his headgear. And it's gone past the left-hand post. So the scores are tied at 15 points each. Good to see John Marnie, the old Thurrock scrum half, here today. I was fortunate enough to play with John Marnie for about 10 seasons, probably the best scrum half in England at the time. So James Killington looking menacing on the left touchline as Cox prepares to kick off. Increasingly this game is all about exits and position, field position, territory. That's another kick off by Brentwood. This time the referee again says the ball has gone 10 metres. This time Thurrock do play on. Brentwood have possession in their own half, using the forwards. Wider pass, well taken in. The secret of this is keep the game tight and playing the ball on the inside. Brentwood have done that really well. And Brentwood have a free ball, they've won the penalty. Thurrock attempting to clear out there. Brentwood have got a record of playing this ground on many occasions, having won only once. A very close cup tie a couple of years ago. where they just about held on for victory. As I said earlier, this is not about superstition, this is about momentum. And for the last 10-15 minutes, Brentwood have regained momentum. It's now a question of game management against this huge wind. I must say, it's not just any wind, it's an absolutely freezing wind. Brentwood have been unable to throw the ball in straight, and they've conceded a free kick. So Matt Siddle, the full-back, is to kick the up and under. That's gone just outside the Brentwood 22, which is probably the best place to put it. As Brentwood try to bring it out their own 22, Dan Stone was the first there with the tackle. Rob Murphy's on the field. Thurrock have field position. And Brentwood have the ball. Stone and Loca give away the penalty with a no-arms tackle, completely unnecessary. The no-arms tackler has given away the penalty and given away possession. I mean, look, if you look at the Thurrock touch judge there, who's actually the direct rugby Martin Jones, you can see the strength of the wind. Brentwood being fortunate to make even 8 or 9 metres from that kick. Alex Jones berating the pack for making those mistakes and giving away the penalties. Rob Murphy moved on to the back row. Looks as if Jay Jennings is out for the rest of the game, and scored a great try and had what looked like a stinger. And Butramus making the tackle. Brentwood play the inside ball, they lose possession. And Thurrock have the penalty. This time surely they have to elect to give the ball some air and try and spiral it deep into the corner. Siddle elects for safety and gains about 18 or 19 metres. It is difficult with the placement of the ball on the foot. Thurrock have won their line out. Once again they're driving into the Brentwood half. Timpson on a short pass to former schoolmate at William Edwards School, Charlie Russo. Jones, great pass, Jones. Stone makes a nice chip there, he's recovered. Oh! He's almost won the ball back there. He's lost possession. Delightful chip over. If he'd collected that one, he would have been under the posts. But instead of giving up the ghost, then he would have been wise to play on and perhaps make the tackle. Nevertheless, it was a very clever attacking kick by Dan Stone, who's been brought in to manage the game and actually to bring a bit of joie de vivre. Jouer, jouer, as the French say. Much better play. Alex Jones was striving manfully to deliver the pass against the wind. Stone came onto it really well, chipped over the defence. So Lucas Roast, scrum half. Brentwood won that one. Cox has the ball. They're trying to play it out defence. Thurrock are concentrating in the middle of the field. Henry Bird, Niall Clifford looking after that part of the field. Just the ideal centre partnership on this day. But Brentwood have regained possession, going through the phases, making progress. They go blind once again. Thurrock look a little bit exposed on that side. It's a loose pass. Thurrock onto it quite quickly. Thurrock have been called offside. Brentwood take quick tap. Dummy. Charlie Russo's. Thurrock go blind. Defence goes blind with it. Clifford has tried to win. He's won the ball back there. Too close to the breakdown, and looks as if Clifford came through offside.
Come on, Tees. Got this, boys.
The referee telling Charlie Russo, the captain, that's the last infringement they must make, otherwise they will receive a yellow card. It's been a good contest and nobody wants a yellow card today. So the ball is slapped down there, an arm grabbed. That's a better kick by Brentwood. Bit of a roller coaster of battle now. They won first one side, then the other gaining ascendancy. So it's Payne with a throw in. That's one well at the back by Killington. Ball comes out the Brentwood backs. Henry Bird isn't going to miss that tackle. Henry Bird does what Henry Bird does. Close to the fringes there, Timpson the tackle. Charging run. Raging bull of a player. Brentwood have possession again. Such a shame that Danstone's speculative chip and chase didn't quite come off. That could have been a turning point of the game. And yet another penalty against the home side. And I have no doubt this will result in a yellow card. No, the referee seems for keeping up the tackles. Very narrow. I'm not sure what's happened there. I can't see what's happened there. And we are unsure of the outcome there. We're struggling to see what's happened. Brentwood have the penalty, and somebody gone to the bin. So that was a great opportunity for Thurrock. It looks now as if they've been reduced to 14. Nice comments there from Mervyn Jones. I think he's still down in Sussex, former treasurer of the club. An accountant, Mervyn. a great clubman himself. You've seen half time on the screen, lots of great compliments about Jeff Selway and wonderful memories of that great man. So it was really unfortunate for Thurrock. Great attacking opportunity, gave away a penalty and subsequently team yellow card as such, having infringed on so many occasions. It's unfortunate with the elements strongly in their favour. Thurrock have infringed and lost a play to the yellow card, and they're giving away a large number of penalties. Indiscipline has cost them dearly this season. Good line out, good throw from Lewis Payne. And Brentwood with the advantage have now attacked Thurrock through the driving wall. Balls come loose to Wells. Matt Wally. Thurrock still game with the tackling. They're playing with a lot of heart and passion today, if nothing else. Brentwood still coming short. Surely they will attempt to take advantage of the extra man at some stage. Still driving the ball down the narrow side, catch Poling with the tackle. Now it's come wide, it's come out to Cox, it's come to the full back. He's struggling for numbers in the middle of the field. Thurrock have the opportunity to come in, tackle. Kai Holloway's come in there. A lot of pressure from Brentwood. Another tackle. It looks very much as if the play was going to ground, and then that was deemed to be a high tackle. Captain Charlie Russo gets another dressing down. Thurrock already down to 14 men. So Brentwood have taken the scrummage rather than kicking the corner, determined to make use of the extra man through the scrum. This will be a long 10 minutes for Thurrock. No, Brentwood have decided instead to go to the corner. Not necessarily the wisest thing, bearing in mind they have to throw in against the wind. Game very much in the balance at 15 points each. Brentwood took the throw in very quickly whilst the referee was reorganising the line out. This time the line is made secure at the front. Suttle takes the ball. The extra man, Brentwood, are driving close to the Thurrock line. They are held up. But if they're held up over the line, that leads to the dreaded dropout from behind the home team's line. No, it's another scrum. I can't quite see what that scrum was for. Anthony, can you?
I think that was, it looked like the ball didn't come out of the maul.
The maul went to ground, the ball didn't come out, and it's a scrum to Thurrock. Thank you very much for our scrum expert there. It's always good to have one. So Thurrock down to 7 men in the scrum. That's a great pick-up from Ben Timpson. Almost burst through the first tackle. At least he's retained possession, giving Alex Jones a chance to box kick. So Jones instead goes for the dummy, puts the ball out wide, and Thurrock kick that from Matt Siddle. It's well taken by Lewis Holmes. He's tackled in the middle of the field. Thurrock come in, but the ball's given inside. It's all Brentwood this stage. Charging run from Wally. More possession, folding round. Thurrock look like as if they're running out of numbers on that side. It's a determined effort by Brentwood to win the game. Dummy is thrown. It's from a similar situation Lucas Rose dived over at the end of the first half. They're very close there in the fading light on the Orchard side of the ground. It's a very thin black line. And that thin black line has been breached, and Brentwood have gone into the lead by 20 points to 15. As well, we say rugby is a game of momentum, and Thurrock were just gaining momentum when they gave away the penalty and the yellow card, which is quite a strange decision when you consider Thurrock were attacking in the Brentwood 22. Yellow cards usually given after a succession of penalties deep in defence. It's a good effort from Cox to convert, but it remains Thurrock 15, Brentwood 20. The average amount of points conceded when a man goes to the bin is 7 points, so at least we only have 5 at the moment.
Keep pushing, please.
Dan Stone to reconnect. Again, he goes long, goes deep into the Brentwood 22. Ball is fed to Roast. He tries to run out defence. It's tackled in the 22. Payne, the hooker. Rob Murphy with the tackle. Comes back to Cox, who this time finds touch. Six. Thurrock are asking for the man to come out the bin. Not quite ready, so Thurrock have an attacking line still with 14 players. Thurrock can reduce the line out. All for the difficult throw, but Loka just loses it. Subtle Jets gets the nudge there. This time Brentwood go for a 50-metre scrum. The game was unfortunate. The elements just defeated Loka. He seems to have won the line-out, but then lost possession from a close contact by Killington. Lucas Roast put the ball in. Quick win there. Cox works a switch, comes back inside. Harcourt drives inside. Brentwood win possession. Thurrock are deemed to be offside. They've given away yet another penalty. It's the story of the game. One can't doubt their commitment today. They're trying desperately to win this game. And Thurrock are back to 15. Henry Bird is back on the field. Brentwood have the penalty. You can see what a powerful win it is. That ball has gone approximately 25 metres across the field and forward about 5 metres. Quick line out for Brentwood. That wasn't straight. It was taken too quickly. And the referee asks Brentwood to take it again. Subtle to the top, the back has gone right over the top. It's been taken by Dan Olf. Dan Olf has sidestepped the first man. Clean out is good. Thurrock have the ball. Loka has the ball. He's running across the field again. They have possession. It's come out to Dan Stone. It's fed out to Henry Bird. Now Clifford. It's a good passing movement. One of the best of the day. Thurrock are held up just inside the Brentwood 22. Ball out to Stone again. Throws the ball at the middle of the field to Timpson. Once again, third phase possession. Stone throws a long pass. This time the Brentwood centre comes in and Thurrock get man and ball. Alex Jones has possession. He's taking the ball to Lota. This time he's standing still. Our Seeker is there to keep possession. Ball comes out to Siddle. He feeds Henry Bird. Henry Bird takes the ball in hard. This time Dan Stone throws the ball out. Looks as if Brentwood are offside on this occasion. The referee has got them offside. A bit harum-scarum on that occasion. The Thurrock attack was nullified by a long period of Brentwood being offside. That reduces the penalty deficit by 1. One understands Thurrock are getting a new stand fairly soon, extension of the stand where they will have gas heaters, which will take us back to the 1950s. This isn't true, this isn't true. We're building up the hopes of the supporters here who are freezing in the West Stand. If only Jason Bedding would build a new commentary point for us. So it's Dan Stone now to kick the ball into the corner. That's a tremendous kick by Stone, used to playing on this field. He's taken play 10 metres from the Brentwood line. This is Thurrock's golden opportunity. Deep in the dying embers of this game, Thurrock have an opportunity to win it to the death. They've gone to the front of the line out, which was wise. But Brentwood have won the ball. So once again they will try and route defence. No, and completely wrong. Cox has decided to kick it. Ball has gone out of play and Thurrock are back to where they were. A wonderful crowd today in these conditions to pay their respects to Jeff Selway. And the ladies will do the same tomorrow. They have a 2:30 kickoff against Blackheath ladies. And they've already dedicated their game to Jeff Selway. The wind then just took the ball completely across the field to the Brentwood centre. Why did Thurrock take a long line out in these conditions? But Lewis Cross has picked that up, an attempt to clear from Brentwood, and Thurrock have possession again. This time Anthony Catchpole in the middle of the field. He's a bit isolated. Thurrock has picked that ball up well. Dan Stone has the ball. Niall Clifford, Henry Bird gives to Kai Holloway. Kai Holloway's gone the outside. There's a great chance, and Kai Holloway scored a wonderful try. What a wonderful passage of play that was. The ball went through 3 sets of hands. In these conditions, very, very difficult. And Kai Holloway was sent scuttling into the corner. We showed a clean pair of heels to the opposition winger. Thurrock 20, Brentwood 20. No more than Thurrock deserved. So we have a change of kicker, and it's Henry Bird with a long-range effort. Henry Bird with a long-range effort. He's placed it torpedo style. He smashed that, and that's a magnificent kick. Only Henry Bird could do that against his old team.
He's one of a kind.
Making amends for his miss against Harpenden. Brentwood to kick off. This time the ball has gone 10 metres and it's been tapped back. Chance for Caelan Watts-Adams getting the tackle. He's left that to Rob Murphy. Thurrock have won the turnover. Dan Stone assumed responsibility for the kicking now. So Dan Stone has kicked that deep into the Brentwood half. Now surely Thurrock have to throw the ball short. Thurrock have reduced the line out. They've got just 5 in there. This will surely go to Loker at the front. Now it's gone to Watts-Adams to the back and it's overthrown. It's giving Brentwood possession back. When asked the question, why did they throw long at that stage of the game in this wind? So Brentwood have one last chance. They have possession, but they have a long way to travel. They're moving the ball blind. Thurrock make the tackle, but they've made a few yards of progress. Important to keep discipline. Thurrock are very quick off the mark that time. That's a good tackle. It's a bit messy. This time Thurrock goes short. There's a bit of a difficult one to take, but Thurrock have got possession. Ben Timpson has the ball. He's carried really well today, Ben Timpson, as ever. And Thurrock have the ball again, but now they've given away the penalty by holding on. So deep concern. Thurrock had the opportunity there to play the rest of the game in the Brentwood half, carried, and possibly they could have kicked away from danger. So Brentwood have gone safely into the middle of the line out. They're setting up the drive. Thurrock have a counter drive. And the referee, I think, has decided that was a maul. The scrum has gone to Thurrock. Ben Timms has picked up once again from number 8 position. A terrific game today. Thurrock have possession. They've kicked the ball out. And that is the final whistle. This has been Thurrock's finest win for many a year at Thurrock Oakfield today. And the team dedicated this victory to the memory of Jeff Selway, the wonderful clubman who passed away this week. And what a fitting finale that Thurrock should hold out, score the winning try, and Henry Bird, the former Brentwood player, should kick the conversion. The team today have done Jeff Selway and his family proud, and it's been a fitting tribute to him the way they have performed. Thank you very much. Please tune in to our next edition of Rugby at Thurrock Oakfield. Good afternoon. Thanks, boys. That's been brilliant. Yes!
Good work.
Yes! Come on! Come on! What a performance! Hey! I'm excited as I've been for years and years and years. Yes, come on!